Hola, ¿cómo están? Espero que muy bien. Hoy estamos viendo la lección 1.2, hablando de los números 0 a 30. The first thing we want to think about with numbers is when we use them. So, first of all, we use them to count, which is exactly what you see here in this section. This is just for counting. There are a few things that are different when you go to say how many there are of something, and that's what all of these notes are about, is when you're going to use one of these numbers before a noun to say there are 11 women, for example, or there are 13 men in the class. So again, for counting, these are the numbers. They're just as they are written. I'll say through them, I'll go through them once, you can hear them all. You want to focus on the spelling. There are a few with accent marks. You can see one thing to note with those that do have accent marks, 16, 22, 23, 26, is that they're words with more than two syllables and they end in an S. So 16, 22, 23, 26. That's just one way to help you remember when you're going through trying to remember which ones have accents. One thing, some people have learned that the numbers 16 and above can be written as three words, which they can. 16, 17, using a Y as the and, so 10 and 6, 10 and 7. But it's more common now to see them written as one word joined by the letter I instead of a Y. So I'm going to talk through each number, and then I'll point out some of the exceptions and spelling changes when you use them before a noun. So I'll give you a little time to repeat the number after I say it. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, so the numbers that end in uno, including the number uno, so uno, 21, 31, and then we get to numbers even bigger than 30, like 41, 51, all of those numbers too follow the same spelling change. So when you have the number 1, it ends in an O. When you put it before a masculine noun, like hombres, you take off the O and you add an accent mark to the U, so it becomes 21 hombres. Or if we wanted to say there are 31 men, it would be 31 hombres, the same thing. If you want to say there's one man, you don't say uno hombre, you say un hombre. Okay, with the number 1 before a feminine noun like mujer, to say one woman, you don't say uno mujer, you say una mujer. And then to say the numbers such as 21, 31, 41 before the feminine noun, you change it to una. 21 mujeres, 31 chicas, for example. Okay? But uno is when you're counting, you still use it as uno. Okay? Now another important word that we need to learn that is a word that you're going to use over and over and over again, and you use it especially with numbers, is the word I. And look at that word as I say it, H-A-Y, I. It does not look like that at all. H-A-Y, you don't hear the H. It's kind of like saying I, but it's a different word and it's spelled with H. So I, okay? And it means there is or there are. So to say there are, and let's combine it with up here, 21 men, hay 21 hombres. Let's say there's 21 women, hay 21 mujeres. Right here, we get how many women are there? Hay 3 mujeres. And then people, let's just say these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we want to say there are 6 people, hay 6 personas. Okay? Now to ask how many there are, you need the question word cuantos. Okay? So if you want to say how many men are there, you would say cuantos hombres, and then put in this word hay. Cuantos hombres hay. So how many men are there? Cuantos hombres hay. Okay? If you want to ask about a noun that's feminine, how many women are there, you say cuantas. Cuantas, and then we use the word mujeres, and then our new word hay. Cuantas mujeres hay. Okay? To say there are not, you just put no before the word I. So let's go down a little bit and look at some of these questions. ¿Cuántos estudiantes hay? Then to formulate your sentence, you start with hay, 6 estudiantes, and then they add this prepositional phrase, en la foto. And then here, just a yes, no. So they don't put the word cuántos. There's no question word. They just start with the word I, but say it as a question. So it's just a yes, no question. ¿Hay chicos en la fotografía? So look at the fotografía, la foto, and say, are there or are there not? So you can say, no, no hay chicos en la foto. Or, to be specific, you could say, hay 3 chicas y no hay chicos. Okay, there are 3 girls and there aren't any boys. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, you look at these numbers here in this section, and I'm going to say a number, and then you see if you guess correctly which one it is, and I'll point to it after I've said it. Okay? So let's start with 15. 15. 15. Did you choose 15? Okay, let's do a couple more. 23. 23. 23. There we go, 23. 7. 7. 7. Number 7. Okay, another one. 12. 12. 12. All the way back over here, 12. You have to be careful when you hear the numbers dos and doce, because they sound so similar. Dos is 2 and doce is 12. So you have to listen very carefully for that extra e sound on the end. Let's do one more. 29. 29. 29. 29. Okay, let's go on to page 17. Okay. Let's look at a few of these math problems so we can learn how to say these numbers. So, they're 2 y 15 son. So 2 and 15 are. You can say 2 más if you want to say more. So 2 and or 2 more 15. Or you can say and. So 2 más 15 son 17. 20 menos 1 son 19. 5 más 7 son 12. 18 más 12 son 30. I had to think about that one. 3 más 22 son 25. Okay? And you try the rest, saying the number, saying the whole equation, and then saying the answer. Okay, now this is great practice because it incorporates the question, ¿cuántos hay? So how many are there? So if you want to ask the question, for example, about maletas, let's think about how we could formulate that question. So yes, you could just say cuántos hay, which is in general how many are there. But if we want to say how many suitcases are there, we say cuántas maletas hay. And the answer, hay tres maletas. Okay, here we're going to use the word colores, and it's a masculine word, so we're going to use cuántos. ¿Cuántos colores hay? So what would your sentence say to say there are 10 colors? Follow the model. Hay 10 colores. So here we're going to say how many men are there. ¿Cuántos hombres hay? Follow the model to answer. Hay un hombre. How about this one? How many guys are there? ¿Cuántos chicos hay? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So there are 25. Hay 25 chicos. Okay? You get the idea. Let's see if there's anything else from 18 to take a look at. Okay? So again, look at these questions, how they're written, and what they're asking. So questions are written with an upside down question mark at the beginning of the sentence, and then the question mark at the end. Any question word like who, what, when, where, why, how many, we're going to learn a lot more of them. They have a written accent mark, so just pay attention to where it is. This one happens to be over the A. Okay? So when you have a question word, they're asking for some missing information. If you don't have a question word and you just have a yes-no question, you answer with yes or no, and then you can also add more information. So we could say, like if it says look around the classroom and answer these questions, we don't have a classroom, but we could say, let's just pretend with number 3 that there are 10 computers in the room. So it says, hay una computadora. Sí, hay 10 computadoras. So you could answer with, yes, there are 10, as if it's saying, is there a computer? You say, yes, there are 10. Or you could say, no, there's not one, there are 10. No, no hay una computadora, hay 10 computadoras. So if your answer to a yes-no question is no, say no once to answer the question. And then start again with no to make your sentence negative. So, ¿hay una computadora? No. No hay una computadora. The same on this one. ¿Hay una maleta? Let's just say there's not one. No. No hay una maleta. Okay? And then again to notice with cuantos, you can use cuantos or cuantas depending on the noun that comes after, if it's masculine or feminine. Okay? Okay. I hope that helps with the numbers, the word I, and the questions with cuantos. Adios.